Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Listen and Learn. I will use simple words so you can understand and follow me. Let's begin how to describe your day. You might think it is very simple to talk about your daily activities, but in reality, this skill is extremely useful because it helps you improve your fluency, vocabulary, and confidence in speaking. Whenever you want to introduce yourself, practice English conversation, or even write about yourself, describing your day is one of the best exercises. That is why in this lecture, I will explain step by step how you can describe your day in English, clearly, correctly, and confidently. When we talk about describing our day, we usually follow the natural order of time. That means we start from the morning, then we move to the afternoon, then to the evening, and finally to the night. This order makes our description logical and easy to understand. For example, if you suddenly talk about your dinner before mentioning your breakfast, it will sound confusing. So the first thing to remember is always describe your day in a clear sequence, following the timeline of your daily routine. Now let us think about why describing your day is so useful. Number one, it helps you practice using the present simple tense and the past simple tense. For example, you can say, I wake up at 7 a.m. if you are describing your regular routine. Or you can say, I woke up at 7 a.m. if you are describing what you did yesterday. By practicing this, you not only learn grammar, but also become more confident in choosing the correct tense. Number two, it increases your vocabulary because you use different words for activities like waking up, brushing teeth, eating breakfast, going to school, working, relaxing, and sleeping. Number three, it helps in conversation. Imagine meeting a new friend and they ask you, what did you do today? If you can describe your day in English, you will immediately feel comfortable answering without hesitation. To begin describing your day, you should focus on the morning routine. Most people have similar routines, and this makes it easy to start. For example, you might say, I woke up at 6:30 a.m., I brushed my teeth, washed my face, and got ready. Then I had breakfast with my family, and after that, I left for school. These are very simple sentences, but when you say them in English, you are already practicing correct grammar and structure. A good tip is to keep your sentences short and clear in the beginning. Later, when you become more confident, you can add more details. For instance, instead of just saying, I had breakfast, you can expand and say, I had breakfast at 7 a.m. I ate bread with butter and drank a glass of milk. My breakfast gave me energy for the rest of the morning. By adding details, your description becomes richer and more interesting. Another important point to remember is that when you describe your day, you should also use time expressions. These are words and phrases like in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, at night, at 7 o'clock, after that, then, later, finally. These expressions connect your sentences and make your description smooth. For example, instead of saying, I woke up, I brushed my teeth, I had breakfast, I went to school, you can say, I woke up at 6:30 a.m. Then I brushed my teeth and washed my face. After that, I had breakfast, Finally, I went to school at 8 o'clock. Do you see the difference? The second version sounds much more natural and connected because of those linking words. So, the first step in describing your day in English is understanding the importance of sequence, grammar, vocabulary, and time expressions. Start with the morning, add some details, and use connecting words to join your sentences together. In the next part of the lecture, I will explain how to describe your afternoon activities in the same way, and we will build a full day description step by step. When we describe our day in English, we usually follow a timeline starting from the morning. For example, you can begin by talking about what time you woke up. You might say, I woke up at 7 a.m. or I usually wake up early in the morning. Then you can continue by describing your morning routine. For instance, after waking up, I brushed my teeth and washed my face. You can also add details about breakfast, like I had bread and eggs for breakfast, or I usually drink a cup of tea in the morning. These simple sentences create a picture of how your day started. Using the present tense works if you want to talk about your daily routine, and the past tense is useful if you want to describe a day that already happened. It is also helpful to use connecting words so your story feels smooth. Words like after that, then, next, or finally help your sentences flow naturally. For example, I woke up at 7 a.m., then I brushed my teeth. After that, I took a shower and got dressed. See how the use of connecting words makes your description clear and organized. This way, the listener or reader can easily follow your daily activities step by step. Another important thing is to include emotions or feelings when describing your day. For instance, you can say, I felt happy after breakfast because I listened to my favorite music. Or, I was a little tired in the morning because I did not sleep well last night. Adding feelings makes your description more interesting and personal. You're not just giving a list of activities, but also showing how you experience them. To make your description richer, you can also add small details. Instead of simply saying, I went to school, you could say, I went to school by bus, and I sat next to my best friend. Or instead of saying, I studied, you can say, I studied English grammar and practiced writing sentences. The more specific details you add, the more alive and colorful your day sounds in English. So, when you are explaining your morning in English, remember these points. Start with the time, explain your activities step by step, use connecting words, add feelings, and include small details. By practicing this style, you will become confident in describing your day in English in a way that is easy to understand and enjoyable for others to hear. After describing your morning routine, the next step is to talk about your afternoon. In English, you can describe what you usually do after finishing school, work, or any morning activities. For example, you might say, in the afternoon, I usually have lunch with my family. Or you could say, after lunch, I like to take a short rest. These are very natural ways to explain your afternoon. If you are a student, you can add sentences like, I did my homework in the afternoon, or I went to my coaching classes. If you are a working person, you might say, I had an important meeting after lunch, or I continued my office work until the evening. By giving these details, you are showing a clear picture of how your day moved from morning to afternoon. It is also helpful to describe the activities you enjoy doing during this time. For example, in the afternoon, I like to play football with my friends. Or sometimes I go shopping in the market with my mother. These activities show more about your personality and lifestyle. You can also talk about what you eat or drink in the afternoon, such as, I drank a glass of juice, or I ate some snacks while watching TV. These small details make your description natural and realistic. When telling about your afternoon, it is also a good idea to use time expressions. For example, at 2 p.m., I started my homework. Or, around 4 p.m., I went outside for a walk. These time expressions help your listener or reader follow your activities in order, just like they are walking through your day with you. Remember, clarity and order are very important when you describe your day in English. Another useful tip is to include how you felt in the afternoon. For example, I felt relaxed after taking a nap, or I was excited to play football with my friends. These feelings show your emotional connection to your activities, making your description lively and engaging. If you want, you can also mention any challenges you faced. For example, I felt a little bored while doing homework, or I was tired because the weather was too hot. Sharing positive and negative feelings makes your description more complete. Finally, always try to connect your afternoon with the next part of the day, which is evening. For example, after finishing my afternoon activities, I prepared myself for the evening. Or, when I finished my homework, I was ready to spend some time with my family. These linking sentences make your description flow smoothly from one part of the day to the next. So, when describing your afternoon in English, remember to talk about lunch, rest, studies or work, fun activities, time expressions, and your feelings. Practice building longer sentences with details so your description sounds clear and natural. Now it is your turn. Try to describe your afternoon in English. Write 5-6 sentences about what you usually do after lunch. For example, do you take rest, play games, study, or meet friends? Practice writing these sentences and then read them aloud. This exercise will make you more confident in describing your day in English. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our Listen and Learn channel. And follow us on TikTok and Facebook for more English learning tips every day.